This is a really cool setup by Big, CT side of cash. So taking a look at this setup, there's a couple of really good things that I like that Big is doing here. So I'm going to go through each one individually. First, I want to point out that Kiev and Gabi both started the round towards bomb site B. They're holding control of checkers, so this is an area of the map that they are controlling. And after they smoked this off, they threw a flashbang, and then slowly crept over here, boosted Gabi into the events, and he's now sitting here. The other thing to notice is that Gabi has a smoke. It's very important that when you play vents, you have a smoke, or your teammate has the ability to flash or bail you out, because it's super common for this to get mollied out. The setup here is pretty common. You've got Kiev opping in checkers, and you've got Gabi in the vents to protect him so that people can't just freely run into the vents and kill him. Kiev has a good position. He's able to take contact on this op. This is a position that gets flashed, but if it does get flashed, he'll be safe. He'll be able to just kind of duck around the corner. And then again, he does have Gabi there for support if needed. Where this setup is really cool, we jump on board with Legia. We're going to watch how he's playing this white box here middle. Super simple, seems extremely basic, but what he's doing is he's regularly jump spotting that without making noise and gaining information on where the other team is or isn't. So, each time he does that, he can just say, like, mid's still clear, I don't see anything. The other thing Legia does in this position, as he's jump spotting this safely, is he's not allowing any Ts to sneak up and flank Gabi in the vent. So remember, in this setup, Gabi is in the vents. And you can see here, he's got like a little bit of a pixel peek in case somebody swings wide. But because Legia is jump spotting this, if a T tries to walk out middle, Legia will spot it, and then he and Gabi will have the opportunity to double peek whoever that player is. So doing this not only gives him information on mid, but it also helps protect Gabi from getting surprised. If there's somebody boosted on this box, they're going to have a much harder time landing this shot. So we'll see what this looks like on the other side. Notice that little blip? That's Legia's head. It's pretty safe. Now we're going to change the angle and come down here. And you just see a little bit of a pixel there. And that's a really good, safe way to spot mid. Now, extending this setup, we're going to take a look at what Tabson is doing, which is basically the exact same thing on the other side of the map. And he's regularly jump spotting A main, looking for information, and he has a smoke out. Now, he's a little bit more visible, but it's also an angle that's fairly safe. His smoke comes out as a response of the smokes that are being thrown here. And the whole idea of this CT setup is that you have information. The second they put pressure on you at mid, you spot it. The second they put pressure on you at A main, you spot it. And if they were to pressure checkers, you're going to spot that as well. So all the areas of the map where you would have sightlines to determine where the enemy is, or in a lot of cases isn't, are handled with this particular setup. This is a very good CT setup to start the round with. And one other thing worth pointing out in this particular setup, we're already down 50 seconds in the round, and look at all the utility. Plus the one flash on Nyx. So because you have information of where the enemies aren't or are, you can save your utility and use it reactively instead of proactively. And that's not a bad thing. I think a lot of times people hear proactive and they assume it's better than reactive. But if the other team isn't going to use any grenades and you have the opportunity to spot them safely and then use your grenades instead of just using them at the start of the round, just more efficient, more effective use of your utility. And what's going to bait out these smokes or flashes, this smoke you'll see gets thrown a little under a minute. And the reason that gets thrown is because Legia starts to get pressured at mid. Now that smoke goes down, there's about 50 seconds left in the round, which means it'll bring it down to under 40 seconds before that smoke fades. And it's a really good way to save utility, have information, play pretty safe. And this is a setup that you can use effectively CT side.